Hi guys, how are you today? My name is Shanda and I hope you are all having an amazing day so far. And if you're not having an amazing day, I really hope that your day gets better from here on out. But today is the second ever episode of Makeup Talk, and basically it is just me getting ready for the day and doing my makeup while I talk with you guys about a topic that has been heavy on my mind. So let's get started. Okay guys, so today's topic is Dahvie Vanity. Now I wanted to talk about Dahvie Vanity. I know that a lot of other YouTubers have covered Dahvie Vanity, but there are still people out there, there are still people out there that don't even know who he is, so I do want to talk about him a little bit and let you guys know my opinions on this topic as well. So, if you don't know who Dahvie Vanity is, he was born Jesus David Torres, and he was the lead singer of Blood on the Dance Floor. Blood on the Dance Floor is a electronic music group from the MySpace era days. They did a lot of music with Jeffree Star, and they are from Orlando, Florida. They pretty much got famous on MySpace and then started getting bigger and bigger and touring and stuff. So they formed in 2006, and they had a lineup from 2009 to 2016 when they broke up. They broke up because Monroe left the band, and it was pretty much like an electronic music band. So it was really only, I'm pretty sure they had people who played like the instruments, but the singers were Jay and Dahvie, and that's pretty much what the band consisted of. When Jay left the band, it was pretty much over. But they released 9 studio albums during their little era there, and the music, I'm sorry, absolutely horrible. It literally sounds like video games to me, like older video games, like with the music and stuff. But I mean, whatever, it's whatever. People all have their different things of what kind of music they like, but I personally don't like that kind of music. Anyways, so Dahvie had a very like eye-catching aesthetic. To me though, it looked like he was like a big fan of Nikki Sixx, and it looked like he was a Nikki Sixx wannabe and like look-alike. He did his hair just like Nikki. Like, okay, here's a picture of Nikki Sixx back in the 80s, and here's a picture of Dahvie Vanity. Their hair is like exactly the same, the haircut anyway, but Dahvie does all of the like bright colored hair and stuff like that. But he also always wore, like when they toured, he always wore like the chains and spikes and stuff, and it looked a lot like what Motley Crue wore when they first got famous in the early 80s. But he definitely looks like a Nikki Sixx wannabe to me. But it was very, very catchy with the teen girls. So like the teenage girls really, really liked him a lot. But besides Dahvie's music and his aesthetic and all that stuff, he is also a so of course I can't say those words on YouTube, so what I'm gonna say is the R word and the P word. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the R word and P word, he forced himself on women, and he also forced himself on girls who were not yet women. So yes, that is him. Now, 21 women have come forward so far and have accused Dahvie of sexual assault. And 16 of those women were underage at the time of the assault. And the assaults ranked across 12 states and 2 Canadian provinces within a 10-year period. So pretty much the whole time they were touring and famous, and even before also. My notes. Okay, so 14 survivors said that Dahvie forced them to perform oral on him, and he refused to stop even when they struggled and couldn't breathe. And they also said that it was some of them said that it was so violent that their mouths bled and they were swollen, their mouths were swollen for days afterwards. And the other 7 victims said that they were molested and also R-word. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning, from before Blood on the Dance Floor even was a thing. Now, Dahvie lived in Orlando, Florida, and he was a hairstylist in Orlando, Florida, and he was pretty big on MySpace at the time, and his MySpace name was Dahvie, the Elite Hair God. So that is what his MySpace name was in 2005, 2004, 2005. So that is what his name was. That's not it. Where's my brush? No. Yay, here it is. Okay. So he was a hairstylist, and he met this girl on MySpace named Diana Farrell, and Diana was 14 at the time. Yeah, 14 at the time, and Dahvie was 22 years old. And Diana was talking to Dahvie, and he offered to give her a new emo hairstyle for free. And of course, she jumped at the chance. And Dahvie drove across the state of Florida to give her this new hairstyle for free. Now, he lived in Orlando and she lived in Spring Hill, I believe, Spring Hill, Florida. So it was quite a drive from my understanding, a couple hours drive anyway. And so he drove across the state to give her oh, wait a minute. Oh, duh. Hello. My concealer is literally the same color as my face, so I can't really see it with these lights. Duh, might need to blend that in. Okay, so Dahvie drove across the state of Florida to give her this hairstyle. Now, when he got to her house, her mother was there, but her mother was a very hardworking mom, and she had 2 nurse jobs, and she had to go to work. Where is my picture? Oh, come on. Oh, jeez. Okay, whatever. Okay, so her mom was a very hardworking mother, and she had to go to work. She had 2 nursing jobs at the time. So when Dahvie got there, she stayed for a little while and met him and everything, but then she eventually had to leave and go to work. So she did leave shortly after he arrived, but she did stay to meet him and everything like that. And she also did say that he was very nice and very manipulative, and he had a way that made her feel safe leaving her daughter with him. So he did her hair, and she went ahead and left. And Dahvie either before he did her hair or after he was done with her hair. It wasn't clear. He forced her to perform oral on him. And he left, and then she ended up not telling anyone at first, and then 8 days later, a confused 14-year-old Diana called into a teen Christian radio show. Do you guys remember those radio shows back, way back in the day, where you could call in and talk about your problems? That is where she called, and she ended up talking to the DJ about her experience, and one of the employees ended up calling the police. So the police came out and talked to Diana and pressed her for details, and she was very reluctant at first, very nervous. She was crying, I mean, of course, and she ended up telling the police what had happened. So she told the police what happened, and she also told them that she did not want to get him in trouble. She did not even know his real name, but she said that he went by Dahvie on MySpace. And so after speaking with Diana and her mother, the police detective Captain Kurt Ramonosky of the Crimes Against Children squad in Pinellas County, Florida, they called a then 22-year-old Dahvie and told him that he knew of sexual contact between him and Diana, and he also told him, he went on to tell him that Diana's mother will not press charges if he agrees to cut off all contact with Diana. Okay, that's great. Okay, moving on. So, Dahvie not only made excuses, but he also apologized for what happened. So he admitted what he did. He made excuses. He said he did not know her age. He didn't know she was as young as she was. And he also apologized and agreed to cut off all contact and never talk to her again. So that was the end of that. Yes, that was the end of that. What is in my mouth? Hair. There is a hair. Okay, I got it. Ugh. Okay. So, lewd and lascivious battery. Sexual penetration of a child between the age of 12 and 15 by an adult. Those are the things that Dahvie was very briefly investigated for. And also, it is a form of statutory rape, which carries a 15-year prison sentence in the state of Florida. So, also in the state of Florida, ignorance of the victim's age is not an admissible defense under the state law. So, him admitting to what he did should have been prosecuted. But he didn't. Obviously, the cops did nothing, and the consent goes right out the window because someone who's 14 cannot consent with an adult. So it should have been an open and shut case, especially he admitted to it. But police let Dahvie off anyway, and they did absolutely nothing. But moving on, we will talk about that a little bit later. So, from there, Dahvie was free to create blood on the dance floor and have unlimited access to a plethora of teenage girls. Great job, cops. So Dahvie was even arrested one time in 2009 during a show, and he wasn't even able to finish the set because he was arrested during the show and not even able to finish the set. Now, this was the only time that I could find that Dahvie was actually arrested and taken into police custody. But he does have 2 arrests on his record for something like this, but this is the only actual story I could find. So what happened was Dahvie forced, again, a teenage girl to perform oral on him in his tour bus before the show started. Now, after the show, after they were finished, he told her to clean herself up and he would see her later. So she ended up washing her mouth out with soda, and she did end up calling the police during the show, and the police came and arrested him during his set. Now, I'm going to use the brand new Nikki Tutorials and Beauty Bay collaboration palette. I got this palette when it first came out, and I love it so much. Today I'm going to do like a kind of like nude look on my eyes. So this is the perfect palette for this because it has these beautiful nude colors. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Okay, so in this story, I actually read 2 different versions, and I am not sure which one is true because there's 2 different ones, but I'm going to tell you both and see what you think. Either one, I don't think that he should have been let off, but so anyway, she was taken to the hospital. The girl was taken to the hospital, and she was either told by hospital staff that she had already rinsed her mouth out with soda, so that it would be pointless to do a kit because there wouldn't be any evidence there anyway, so they didn't even do one. Now, if that is true, that is the worst thing I have ever heard. Since when do hospital staff tell you that they know for sure they're not going to find anything, so there's no point in doing one? I don't know. Either, but then I also read that she was given a kit and they didn't find anything because she washed her mouth out with soda. So I've read both. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but either way, there has been plenty of cases where detectives have made the case without physical evidence. And from what I've heard, this girl was willing to move forward, so the fact that they just dropped it because they didn't find any physical evidence is ridiculous. They make cases all the time. I forgot I was doing my makeup there. They make cases all the time without physical evidence like that. So anyways, so this happened in 2009, and in 2009 this is when they first started getting big. Blood on the Dance Floors first started getting big, and their first singer with Dahvie, his name was Garrett Ecstasy, and whoa, mayday, what happened here? Oh my goodness. Okay, his name was Garrett McLaughlin, I don't know, and he was known as Garrett Ecstasy, and he said that he and a friend walked in on Dahvie before the show on his tour bus, and Dahvie was with 2 underage girls, and they were both performing oral on him. And he said that this was that day, so he did see it. And later, Garrett saw one of the girls crying to the police in the parking lot, saying that Dahvie had forced her. And Dahvie was, of course, released a few days later with no charges, of course. And then he went on to make a video and tell his fans that she had mental issues and that she failed the kit and she just had mental issues. Now, this girl, I mentioned earlier that she was a teenager. And so I was thinking at first, well, she's a teen, so, and she was actually freshly turned 17 years old. And they were in the state of Colorado, and in Colorado, the state, or the age of consent is 17. So he definitely got lucky on that one. Oh my goodness. I don't know what is going on here with this, guys, but whatever. Okay, the next testimony I came across that I wanted to share with you guys was there was a 15-year-old girl who was, of course, talking to Dahvie on MySpace, and she had a dream of being a tour manager. So Dahvie said that he wanted to help her with her dreams of being a tour manager, and he said that she could come to his house and be his merch girl. So this girl and her mother went to Dahvie's house so she could train as his merch girl, and she ended up going through like a bunch of merch at his house, and she was doing it for hours and hours, and she still had so much to do. And her mom was also there, and her mom ended up going to the hotel and letting her daughter stay the night at Dahvie's house. Now, her mother also said the same thing as the first victim's mother. She said that Dahvie was so nice to her, and he was so like manipulative, and he spoke to her in a way that it made her feel like extremely safe, leaving her daughter alone with Dahvie. Her mother said that it was just like he spoke to her in a way that made her feel super safe, and we know that predators are very good at that. So this girl, or this mother, left her daughter at Dahvie's house and went back to the hotel, and her daughter continued going through the merch and everything like that. And Dahvie eventually said that he was tired, he was going to bed, and he asked her if she wanted to join him. And she told him no. She said that she was not finished and she still wanted to keep working. Now, she said that he got all pissy and went to his room, and several hours later had passed, and she said that she really had to go to the bathroom. So she also said that the only access to the bathroom was through Dahvie's bedroom. So she said that the only access to the bathroom was through his bedroom. So she went to his bedroom and she tried to be all quiet. She was hoping he was asleep, but he was still awake. Now, she said that he cut off her, the way she was going. He stood in front of her and would not let her by, and he ended up forcing her to perform oral on him. Later on, she went back with her mother. They went back home, and she never told anyone what happened. So several months later, Dahvie ended up texting her out of the blue and asked her if she wanted to go on tour with him and meet people and learn. And against her better judgment, she decided to go because she had like this dream, and she let her dreams and goals cloud her judgment a little bit, and she went ahead and went. She tried to tell herself it was just an isolated incident and surely he didn't mean to hurt her, so she went ahead and went. So one night when she was on tour, she was taking a nap in like a little nook. She was taking a nap in a little nook, like in the back of the tour bus, and Dahvie had came in, and he was like very aggressive with her, and he said, quote, you know, well, first he started, he exposed himself and then started trying to take off her clothes. And when she resisted, Dahvie said, quote, you know why I brought you here? Sorry. Dahvie said, quote, you know why I brought you here? You're going to give me, or you're going to get the off the bus. Now, she still refused. Good for you, girl. She still refused, and he ended up elbowing her in the face and completely like splitting her lip. Now, she ran off the bus and stayed with some friends of hers until her mom could come and pick her up. And of course, she didn't tell anybody what happened. She thought that it was just her word, a 16-year-old's against Dahvie Vanity, so she didn't tell anybody what happened. Now, next, we have Megan Hood. Now, she was 16 from Lupton, Colorado, and she met Dahvie in 2014 when he messaged her on Instagram. He messaged her on Instagram, and he said he was coming to town and he would love to take her out. Now, Dahvie took her to see X-Men, Days of Futures Past, I believe, and he had been her idol since she was 11 years old, so she was completely starstruck. She was on cloud 9. He ended up kissing her. It was her first kiss. She was so happy. So then Dahvie called her at 3 a.m., and she tried to talk, she was tired, but she still wanted to talk to him. So she stayed up and talked to him, and he told her to go outside because the reception was bad. So she went outside, and she ended up seeing him sitting in his van. So she was kind of like, you know, what is going on here? Because she saw him like sitting in his van. So she was like, okay. So he ended up coming up to her, and he grabbed her wrist and insisted that she delete all of their messages off of her phone. So she went ahead and did that. And then he took her into his van and said, quote, or he said, I can't wait to, quote, F her teen mouth, end quote. Oh. So Dahvie shoved her face into his crotch and forced her to perform oral on him. And she said that it was so violent, her mouth was swollen and bleeding, and he ripped out large chunks of her hair. So the next several months, Dahvie talked to her as if nothing inappropriate happened, which made her think that she was overreacting and nothing inappropriate happened. And surely he didn't mean to hurt her. Maybe he just liked it rough, and she was, sexually inexperienced. So, she just was confused. So when Dahvie offered to fly her to his house in San Diego, she went. She went ahead and went because, she convinced herself that nothing bad had happened. So when he offered her to come to his house in San Diego, she went, and he ended up buying her a ticket, and she was all happy, but she was kind of nervous and didn't understand why he only bought her a one-way ticket. She was 16 years old. She had no job, no money. How was she going to get home? So Dahvie did say that he was going to buy her a ticket and take care of her flight home for a price. Megan said, quote, he said I had to perform sexual favors for him if I wanted to get back home. She also said that Dahvie said, quote, oral counts as $50 towards your ticket. And then Megan said, that is what I had to do to get home. that is just so disgusting and so sad. I just feel so bad for her, poor girl. I can't believe, like, what a piece of shit he is. He makes me sick. Sorry. So moving on, Kristen Gonzalez said that Dahvie forced her to perform oral after doing her hair in Orlando in her apartment in 2006, and she was 15 years old. And this was also before Blood on the Dance Floor. Canadian Justine said that Dahvie groped her breasts at a show in Vancouver in 2010, and she had just turned 16 years old. Now, Sam in Vancouver, Sam in St. Louis had just turned 18, and she said that she had an asthma attack when Dahvie forced her to perform oral on him, and as she laid on the ground wheezing, Dahvie joked that his penis could have choked her to death. Oh my God, that's awful. Now, one of Dahvie's exes, Madeline, said that Dahvie solicited nudes from her when she was still a minor as well. Oh shit. Ah! Oh, I messed that up a little bit. Mayday, mayday. Oh well. I'm not very good at doing my makeup like far away. I don't know. Whatever, I'll get better at it. And a former employee said that they personally and directly witnessed two girls 2 different times that they knew for sure to be underage performing oral on Dahvie. Now, both times Dahvie threatened them and threatened their job if they did not stay silent. Now, Levi, a former employee when she was 17, said that after a show in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dahvie brought a young-looking fan to the car when where Levi and her friend were hanging out, and the fan had a bottle of Jack Daniels, and Dahvie grabbed her and kissed her and groped her breasts. And after he walked away, Levi asked her how old she was, and she said that she was 13 years old. Levi, she was also the merch girl, and she publicly accused Dahvie on YouTube of sexual assault and when she was a minor. Now, former employees also said that they watched Dahvie shamelessly kiss many young-looking fans on the lips, and this picture here is from 2010, and of course Dahvie swears that this girl is 18, but she definitely does not look 18 to me, but okay. So after this, so many fans of Dahvie still defended him and didn't believe any of this, and they defended him and attacked several other people when they would come out against Dahvie. And Kate Offit from Ohio, she is a fan who admits that she personally attacked many girls defending Dahvie, and then it happened to her. She was in a show in Cleveland, Ohio when she was 16, and Dahvie ended up molesting her. Now, next, let's go ahead and talk about the famous Jessi Slaughter incident. Now, Jessi Slaughter, her name is Damien Leonhardt, and she was known as Jessi Slaughter back in the MySpace days. And she was 10 years old when all this stuff happened. Now, her first assault, she was talking to Dahvie on MySpace before this, and she also lived in Florida, and she was talking to Dahvie on MySpace, and he was going to be performing at this party in Florida, in Central Florida. My brain went blank. And he was going to be performing at this party, and he invited her to come. So she came, and she said that he sang songs like S my D, and he was grinding all over teenage girls at this party. And she also said that there was a cake smash. There we go. She said there was also a cake smash at this party, and all of the fans ended up getting cake all over them, so they all went to the bathroom to wash it off. And when they were in the bathroom, Dahvie was in there also washing cake off of himself. And then when the other people left the bathroom, Dahvie started talking to her and asking her questions. He asked her if she was also into boys, because when they were talking on MySpace, she told him that she was mostly into girls. So he asked her if she was into boys as well. He then asked her if she had ever given a BJ before, and she said that the questions quickly took an abrupt turn, and the questions started turning in, or they quickly turned into coercion and instructions, and he forced her to perform oral on him, and he knew her age. He had to have known her age. She was 10 years old at the time. She couldn't even have passed for 15 at the time. She was only 10. Here's a picture of her like a year or two after this. So she definitely does not look anywhere close to 18. So after that, 30 minutes later, her parents picked her up and she went home, and she ended up talking to Dahvie all the time, but she ended up talking to him for like the next 16 months, and he knew that she attended an elementary school, and she said that he was very careful. He preferred talking on like webcam and sites like that did not keep a record of the conversation and stuff like that. So even back in 2010, he was really careful. He knew what he was doing. And she said that he first AR'd her when she was 10 years old, and she said that it was, quote, quite violent. Quite violent, she said. And she said that a lot of it was violent, but it was under his direction that was BDSM, and he would always sexualize violence, but he said it was, BDSM, and BDSM is a form of love and whatever. And I'm not saying it's not. Like, I know there's people out there that are into BDSM, and that's totally fine. Like, you do you. That is awesome. You do whatever you like to do. But he was doing this to children and being very violent with him and just telling them that that's what BDSM was all about. So they didn't really know if it was BDSM or if he was just being, violent. So she said that she believed if she would not have ended up telling her friends about the sexual relationship she was having with Dahvie, which led to the online posts and discussions about it, then Dahvie probably would have continued to groom and molest her for years to come. So what happened was, like I said, Jessi ended up telling her friends about their sexual relationship, and then Dahvie ended up hearing about it. People started talking about it online, and it became like this big discussion. So of course Dahvie had to protect himself, so he ended up painting Jessi as this crazed fan who was stalking him, blah blah blah, kind of like what he said about the other girl, that she had mental issues and whatever. And Dahvie ended up getting his very dedicated fan base to bully, harass, and threaten Jessi. Now Jessi would respond to all of the bullying with YouTube and online videos, which only made the bullying and harassment worse. But of course, she was 10 years old. She was 11 years old. She was trying to stand up for herself, and she was making videos online telling everybody that she was gonna hurt them and stuff, and to stop harassing her. Now she ended up making a video in response to the mass amount of bullying, where her dad ended up coming into the camera and saying, yelling into the camera at the people who were bullying his dad or his daughter, and said that he ended up saying you done goofed. And of course, that's what sparked the big thing. And here, I'll just let you watch the video.
Okay, this is Jessi Slaughter. I just want to tell you guys that you ruined my life. My household has been torn ever since you guys started doing this. I haven't been able to do anything.
And don't be saying suicide.
I'm not. I'm saying I haven't been able to eat. I haven't been able to sleep.
Well, guess what? And my daughter's not lying. And I'm not going to put up with any of you people's crap anymore. If you ain't got something nice to say about my daughter, then keep your mouth shut. And any more of your comments to put on there, I'm recording them all, and they are being sent to the police department. And guess what? Your emails will be caught and will be found. And who said you're going to beat my daughter up? You will have to deal with the police, because you done goofed.
See, I haven't been able to eat or sleep or anything. I was just shopping. I've been having emotional breakdowns in a row. And everybody's just been hating on me. And whoever's making fun of me on Tumblr and shit. It's like such assholes. I didn't do anything wrong. I am just a freaking little girl, and I know my shirt is going down. I know that, okay? Don't call me a freaking whore for that, okay? I am torn. And the people who think I don't know Dahvie, I freaking do know him. My mom has answered the phone for him, okay? And he's been calling. And once he called when I was in school. Okay, you guys, this is Jessi Slaughter, and I just wanted to say that you guys have ruined my life.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is from her father. You bunch of lying, no good punks. And I know who it's coming from, because I've backtraced it. And I know who's emailing and who's doing it. And you've been reported to the cyber police and the state police. So you better write one more thing, or screw with my computer again. You'll be arrested. End of conversation from her father.
You're right, fucking gonna come and beat her ass.
And if you come near my daughter, guess what? Consequences will never be the same. You lying bunch of pricks.
See, my house has been like this ever since everybody's been posting stuff about me, okay? I am personally torn.
I live in PC.
I am torn. I have been having emotional breakdowns one after another for the past, like, 3 days.
You can't sleep, you can't eat, because of them fuckers.
You guys are just basically tearing me apart right now. I am crying my eyes out, if you haven't noticed that. Please just stop hating. You guys are ruining my fucking life.
I just feel so bad for her. Like, I feel so awful for her. Like, all of the bullying, she was only 11 years old. I mean, come on, you guys. Like, what is wrong with people? I'll never know. And to harass her in defense of this piece of anyway, so in response to this video, Dahvie and Jay created a parody of this video where they made fun of her and just awful. Here.
This is Harry Potter, and this is fucking guys ruining my life, and I know my shit is falling down, and fucking call me a whore for it.
Don't be saying suicide!
You guys are ruining my life.
That's what! I have nothing nice to say about my daughter! Don't say I'm recording this! I report you to the cyber police! And the state police! And whoever will beat my daughter, you will have to deal with the police! You're done goofed! You're done goofed!
My life, my whole household is torn because of this.
You know what? This is her father!
You guys are fucking assholes.
You no good lying punks! And I know what's going from. I backtraced it! And I know what's going on, and I will contact the cyber police and the state police! you try to beat my daughter, the consequences will never be the same again!
That's my father. Just fucking leave me alone, you guys. Stop, you guys are such fucking assholes. Well,
You done goofed.
I done goofed.
You done goofed.
Tried to take a fucking photo booth picture.
You done goofed.
And it didn't work out.
Consequences will never be the same
The consequences
again!
will be the same.
This is her father!
That's her father.
You done goofed!
You done fucking goofed.
Extremely distasteful and disgusting. So after all of this, Jessi was in a live chat with her friends, and her dad ended up yelling at her, telling her he didn't trust anybody, to get off the computer, turn it off, blah, blah, blah. And allegedly, like, you can't see it, but you can just hear it. Allegedly, he ended up hitting her in the mouth. And of course, this got reported, and Jessi actually got taken away from her parents and put into foster care. And she was also under police protection because of all of the bullying that she had received as well. So she was put under police protection, and she was in foster care. So, like, her whole life had just been torn apart just because she came out against a piece of who her. Poor girl. God, I feel so bad for her. Can you imagine, like, her idol ends up, she meets her idol, and then her idol ends up grooming her, molesting her, her, and sexually assaulting her, and for over a year, almost 2 years. Then when people start talking about it, he ends up calling her names, calling her crazy, and having a ton of people bully and harass and threaten her to the point where she reaches her breaking point, and then he creates a parody about it, laughing and making fun of her. And after all of that, she got taken from her parents, put into foster care. She said she also got put into mental institutions. She was not allowed to have any kind of internet access because of all the threatening. And, like, it really seemed like she was the one being punished when she didn't do anything wrong. And then on top of all oh, Mayday, my God. On top of all that, I'm getting too into this story. Like, I'm getting all mad. On top of all of this, Dahvie, the wonderful human being that he is, he made a song called You Done Goofed. And the lyrics are all just completely ridiculous. He's just calling her names and saying she's lying, and she has a whole song written about her, and she was 11 years old at the time. Wait, let's get this on the bottom here. Anyway, after all of this, she ended up breaking down and having a friend record a video of her, because remember, she couldn't have any kind of internet access at all. So she ended up having a friend record a video of her at school. I think it looked like she was at school, and she ended up apologizing to Dahvie, to Jay, to everybody, and saying that that didn't really happen. She went on and said that, you know, what she said about him didn't happen, and she's so sorry, and blah, blah, blah. And here's the video right here.
Okay. Is it recording? Yeah. Hi Dahvie, hi Jay, hi Sally, hi the whole BTDF spectrum. It's Jessica Rose, aka Jessi Slaughter here. I'm saying sorry for everything that I've done. I feel really bad about it now. I'm in foster care. I have been locked up in mental institutions, and just like you done Goofed said, I do have to go to counseling now and everything, but it's not because of you. So, I'm really sorry for everything that I've done. I'm sorry for accusing you of rape and everything. I know that all that happened. And
I'm having this recorded by Oriana because I have no computer privileges now because of imposter. And why am I talking with my hands? I'm truly sorry for everything that I've done, and I love BOTDF. They're basically all the CDs that I have are BOTDF now, so just saying that I'm sorry and everything, and I love you guys to death. I mean, Jay's my idol, Dahvie's my idol, and Sally inspired this. I shaved it off my head. So, yeah, love you guys. Sorry.
So I feel so bad for her. Like, she pretty much thought, like most of us would think at the time, if she just recants her statement and apologizes, it'll all go away. And unfortunately that didn't happen for her, but that is why she recanted. Of course, I'm sure after all of that anyone would recant. But her father did end up having a heart attack and dying. Now, a lot of people say it was because of the stress and this whole situation, but I mean, you can't really pinpoint a heart attack. I mean, I'm sure he was under a ton of stress, and then his daughter got taken, and it's awful. And I truly feel so bad for him. I really hope that he rests in peace, and I'm so sorry for Damien, aka Jessi, about her dad. And she has done a couple of interviews. She did an interview with Pastel Bell, who is an amazing YouTuber who has covered this story in great detail, and she has done so many interviews with not all, but a lot of his Dahvie's victims. She did an interview with Repzilla, who is also another one of my favorite YouTubers. He is amazing. He's covered this story and so many others. You should go check him out. She also did an interview with Chris Hansen. Now, I just really wish her the very best. I did reach out to her to try and see if you know, how she was doing. I asked her if she would like to talk about it. I know she's already done so many interviews, so I don't want to pressure her or anything. But I did just want to reach out. I just really hope that she has found peace and she is doing better. I really, really hope so. But on March 2nd, 2018, I forgot to do my brows. Damien Leonhardt, aka Jessi Slaughter, publicly accused Dahvie of sexual assault on Tumblr. And she said, let me read it for you. She said, quote, "I will say it loudly and clearly and without hesitation. Dahvie Vanity, aka Jesus David Torres, me. R-word me. He is an abuser, sexually, emotionally, and physically. I am not afraid of him anymore, and I am not afraid of the fan base he got to attack me until I recanted my statement when I was 12 years old. I am no longer staying silent, not after so many young kids got hurt after me," end quote. Now, I am so glad that she made that statement on Tumblr, and I really, really hope that that statement gave her back some of her power that Dahvie tried to take from her by having her bullied. So besides all of the allegations of sexual assault with besides all of the allegations of and sexual assault, there's also dozens of claims of grooming, coercion, coercing nudes from minors, sexting minors, just tons of molestation to this day. Some claims are as recent as just last week. Now, I have heard tons of survivors say, especially teens, who have been targeted by a predator or been molested, say that afterwards that their abuser would act like nothing bad or nothing inappropriate happened at all, and telling them that they love them and how great and wonderful they are, and stuff like that. And a former sex crimes prosecutor, I cannot pronounce his name at all, but here's the name right here. Now, he said, quote, "Sometimes victims go back on their abusers sometimes victims go back to their abusers because they have yet to draw the line that they were actually sexually assaulted, or going back, they are doing their best to convince themselves that they were not assaulted." Also, they go back to their abusers to try and take back some of their power, I have also heard. But this prosecutor also said, quote, sophisticated abusers who behave normally after an assault are often sowing doubt into to deceive their victims into believing that it wasn't actually an assault, because what person who commits a horrific crime would then engage with them afterwards as normal? Now that is very true, and I'm so sorry, you guys, I cannot talk today at all. But the next thing I want to talk about on this case is Ash Costello. Now, Dahvie Vanity issued a video apologizing. We'll review that here in a few minutes, but he said that everybody... Hold on. The next thing that I want to talk about is Ash Costello. Now, she toured with Blood on the Dance Floor back in 2012, and she spoke out about a lot of the stuff that she witnessed. She abused from Dahvie. Dahvie also choked her, I believe. He choked her, and Ash also told a 13-year-old not to go alone with Dahvie, and she also told her, the 13-year-old, that she didn't even feel comfortable touring with Dahvie. So when Dahvie heard about this, he immediately kicked New Year's Day off of the tour. Ash Costello released this tweet telling her fans why they left the tour, and then Dahvie released a tweet saying that that is not true and that she was just making that up, and the reason why he kicked them off the tour is because they were spreading false rumors about him, blah blah blah, whatever. So a couple months later, Ash dropped this huge tweet and went with some details that, of course, I don't believe Dahvie even responded to. Ash Costello, her tweet said, or no, was it on Tumblr? I think it was on Tumblr. She said, quote, I have never met a bigger bully in my life. Showing his butt to kids, having kids grab his blank on stage, telling 12-year-olds you're gonna blank on their faces, making derogatory comments to me on stage, hitting fans on the head with equipment, telling my friends they are band whores on stage because they won't say into the mic that your blank tastes good, watching the cops get called on tour because he was with someone under the age limit. That is just a tiny, tiny, tiny portion of what I had to watch every night. Not to mention what was done to me and done to so many other girls. I watched too many fans get abused, and I was abused myself by this person. I no longer felt comfortable where I was. It became no secret I was unhappy, and when him and I talked, I stood up. I did not back down, even though I was bullied, even though I was threatened. I stood up for what I believed in, and I stood up for what I believed in. After all of this, in 2015, Dahvie put out a video speaking about all of these allegations. So let's see what Dahvie had to say.
Hello, my name is Jesus David Torres. I am the lead singer of Blood on the Dance Floor. I'm here to address the accusations that are made against me. Of course, I am not here to make accusations about anybody else. This is just to add clarity to all the accusations and bullshit people have made of me. So the awful rumors began back in 2009. I played a show, and after the show I had relations with a woman, and after I had relations with a woman, she seemed to have underlying mental issues. Next thing you know, I'm being arrested by police. I go down to the police station. I tell my side of the story. She takes a rape kit. She fails a rape kit. They prove my innocence. I was never charged with a crime. You can look up my name on public records, Jesus David Torres. You can see I was never charged as a sex offender or any of that stuff, but yet people threw in their accusations and they made their rumors and blogs, and next thing you know, I'm public enemy number one.
Okay, I just want to say that he says here that she takes the kit, she fails the kit, which I also want to say, this is what I talked about earlier, when we don't know if she even was given the kit or not. I read that she was not given the kit because they said that she was going to fail it, and then I also read that she did take the kit, but they didn't find anything because she washed her mouth out with soda. Now, I want to point out here that he says that she fails the kit and they prove his innocence. But I also want to point out that he said he had relations with a woman and she had mental issues. Next thing I know, you heard him. Okay, so he admits that he had relations with a woman, but then says that they prove his innocence because she failed the kit. Well, if he admitted that, they had relations right there, then they don't even need the physical evidence. They don't even need the kit, excuse me. They don't even need the kit. Because the only reason why they use those kits is for physical evidence to prove that something took place if he's saying something did not take place. But he just admitted right there that something did take place, that they did have relations. So that kit should mean nothing. So he admitted they did have relations, but she's calling it assault, so the kit should have nothing to do with this. They should have moved forward on her word because he admitted there was relations, so that's grounds to move forward. Why didn't they move forward? Let's continue.
So after all this drama went down, of course, hey, let's jump on the bandwagon. Let's make accusations against Blood on the Dance Floor. In the case of the girl that with the You Dungu video. Obviously, this was a teenager with mental issues who posted online.
Okay, so he says this is obviously a teenager with mental issues who posted online. Okay, so she has mental issues too, of course. Yeah, I bet she did when you were done with her. You probably drove her insane with having everybody... Okay, anyway, sorry. So he, again, is saying that this person also has mental issues, but this is just a teenager that posted online. Did you see how quickly he spoke of that and immediately changed the subject? He literally only spoke on that for 13 seconds and was immediately to something else because he knows what he did. He knows what he did. And he knows he's in the wrong on that. And even if nothing happened, him creating that video making fun of a preteen is absolutely ridiculous. But of course he's not innocent, so it makes it even more disgusting. But yeah, so he said she has mental issues and she posted online. Well, really, she didn't really post online. Other people started talking about it, and then she started getting harassed, and then she started posting online more. Oh, look at that. That's not even staying on. Duh. Okay. So, yeah, even just with his body language right here, you can tell that he's hiding something. But, all right. Roger that. Moving on.
So, at that point, we're just like, what the hell's going on? Like, there was never any legal accusations. There was never any court dates. There was nothing. You can't find any records of it because it never happened, folks. No matter what people blogged about or whatnot, it was clearly nonsense. So I was like, really? Like, okay, where do we have this trial at? Where was this case at? Nothing. Nobody had any whatsoever evidence. This is all bullshit.
You can't find any record of it because it never happened, folks. Okay. Well, clearly there has been tons and tons and tons of cases, R-word cases, that never made it to trial phase, never made it to prosecution because of the many things. Either the victim doesn't want to move forward, the victim is too scared to move forward, she's being bullied, so she backs down or recants, which sounds familiar. Or the cops just don't want to deal with it because there wasn't any physical evidence, so it's going to be hard. Like, we all know that trials and cases and stuff like that cost a lot of money to the state, and the state doesn't really like to move forward unless they are guaranteed to win. So they don't want to spend thousands or millions of dollars on a trial when they don't think they might not win. Unfortunately, it's sad, but that's how it goes. But just because there wasn't a trial doesn't mean it didn't happen, folks. Move on.
And the girl who made up all these rumors about us even made a video saying she was lying and she apologized to us. And of course, we do not ask any of our fans to target this individual. We ask everybody to show respect and show peace.
You don't want anybody to target her and you want everybody to show respect and peace? I'm sorry, can we go back to that clip of you doing a parody of her bawling and breaking down?
You guys are ruining my life.
That's what! I have nothing nice to say about my daughter!
Yeah, but you want everybody to show respect and peace. Gotcha. And let me say, I think anyone would recant their story if they had the amount of harassment and bullying that she endured. She had so much harassment from his fans that they had to put her under police protection. So yeah, I think anybody would recant after that.
Clearly, anybody can make up anything on the internet these days, and people might just actually believe it. But in this case, for us, this is where all the rumors started. But then, yet the girl still made a video explaining why, she made the video, and yet people still believe in this.
She made a video explaining why she made a video. What does that mean?
Now, my next case on slander and defamation, let's talk about the truth about Dahvie Vanity blog on Tumblr. Have you ever noticed none of these accusations has a city, state, or date? And they never really give a real description of anything. And all the stories always say, in their tour bus or something. Well, we don't always have a tour bus. And they always mention me and Javon, but yet we tour with like 8 or 10 people. Where is all these people during these times? None of these rumors really add up or make any sense.
None of these rumors ever add up or make any sense because they don't always have a tour bus or they have other people on tour with them. But there has been testimony from several former employees that have came out and said that they have walked in on Dahvie with an underage girl. So I'm guessing that's where all of the other people are on tour. They're actually walking in on you and you threaten them and threaten their job if they don't stay silent, I believe a couple employees said. So yeah, I think these rumors do add up and they do make sense.
But no one wants to stand up and say, no, this didn't happen. No one wants to tell someone that's claiming rape that they are a liar. The only truth I see in this blog is that these people are lying about me. And some people forget it's innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent.
Duly noted. Let's move on.
And let's just make this clear. If I were charged with a crime, if I settled any case out of court, I wouldn't even have the freedom to speak of it or even discuss it of any capacity. So I was never charged with a crime. I've never been on trial. And I'm not a sex offender. So people are full of shit.
Clearly not true. It would be true if you signed a non-disclosure agreement, or the fan wouldn't be able, or the survivor wouldn't be able to talk about it if you made them sign a non-disclosure agreement.
A lot of my defamers and slanderers like to say, well, people get away with rape every day. Sadly, that is true. But that statement doesn't make me guilty.
That they're saying that statement makes you guilty, I think they're just saying that you still could have definitely done it.
To think so would be pure ignorance. I am not and never have been attracted to children. Just people accusing me of that makes me sick to my stomach, and it's fucking disgusting. You can ask all my friends, anybody that's close to me. I've always treated women with respect. I've always been a gentleman. Everybody who truly knows me knows that about me. My mom raised me right. She taught me to respect women and treat them like goddesses of the planet. You can even ask my girlfriend. If my girlfriend doesn't want sex, I respect that. If my girlfriend says no, I obey her order. That's it.
Well, we did ask your girlfriend, and she said that you did solicit nudes from her when she was a minor, and she also said that you do not treat women respectfully, or anybody for that matter. And she also said that you were very abusive mentally, sexually, and physically. So it doesn't sound like you treat women like goddesses of the earth. And if you did, we probably wouldn't be here.
A lot of our music is very sexual and graphic, and I might want to add a reminder to everyone that there is a parental warning advisory when you purchase the album. So there is a warning. This music is not intended for children. It is for audience that are mature, that are 18 and older. Now, if somebody younger listens to it, that's not our fault. That's their choice to listen to it. And it's not that we purposely or secretly try to gear our music towards a younger audience. We actually gear our music for an older audience, so that doesn't really make any sense.
I'm sorry, I cannot believe he just said that. Did he really just say that he actually gears his music to an older audience with songs like Innocent High, where they're just talking about, oh, teacher, 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 I've been a dirty, and it's time for recess, and just talk, the whole song is about having sex in school and talking about recess, and yeah, it's definitely, I don't really think that's geared towards a mature audience. Definitely think this music is geared for teenagers.
The point is that just because I write a song called Yo-Ho and it's about a pirate doesn't make me a real life fucking pirate. If you do see somebody defaming me, please do not respond with hatred. Respond with wisdom. Show them the way, the clouded, delusional fucks.
Yeah, because that's what you did, right?
You are entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to inform your opinion. But you're not entitled to be ignorant.
Okay, roger that. Moving on. Okay, I want to talk very briefly about the incredibly sloppy, shitty, lazy ass police work in the first case, when he was still a hairdresser and hasn't yet formed blood on the dance floor. So Diana Farrell may have been reluctant to move forward, but police do not need her to move forward in a sexual assault case. Now, she was 14 and Dahvie was 22. Now, the cop, detective or Captain Ramonosky, he called Dahvie and confronted him, and Dahvie admitted, made excuses, and apologized. So, I don't see, okay, but that cop said, quote, that apology wasn't interpreted as an official admission of guilt because Torres was speaking over the phone and not in a formal setting. Okay, so why not bring him in? You got him to admit it over the phone. All you got to do is tell him that you need to bring him in for a formal statement and then have him tell you again, and then you got him. Like, what is the issue? But the cop also said, Kurt Ramonosky, he said, quote, police didn't feel the need to bring Torres in for proper questioning due to the reasons including Farrell's reluctance to cooperate with the investigation. He also said, quote, Torres could have been charged had we had a cooperating victim or had the circumstances have been different, we could have moved forward, end quote. So hold on, dude. Are you totally just trying to blame the victim and act like it is all her fault that you didn't do shit? Because Dahvie admitted and you still didn't even bring him in. It's an open and shut case. You don't need her. I don't understand. They especially prosecute statutory rape cases all the time with reluctant victims because it's A lot of times it's their boyfriend who's like only 2 years older and they refuse to cooperate, but they still press charges. So he is just trying to blame the victim because of his lazy ass police work, then that he didn't do a damn thing. That is what it sounds like to me. And prosecuting statutory rape cases is open and shut. There is no consent there. So it's open and shut, open, shut, open, shut. Police had every reason to drag Dahvie in by his ass hair or wig, I heard it was a wig, and explain to Diana and her mother that they understand their concerns and not wanting to move forward, and they understand her confusion, but they would be there to help them and set them up with counseling, a support system, whatever. So why didn't they do that? And if they would have done that, or anything, if they would have even canvassed a little bit, did any kind of investigation, I guarantee they would have found more survivors and they would have been able to move forward and understand that he was a predator. But they didn't do any kind of investigation at all. And remember that other girl who said that he also, before Blood on the Dance Floor, he also drove to her house and forced her as well? If they would have done any kind of investigating or any kind of canvassing at all, they probably would have found that victim as well, and they would have been able to move forward. I mean, they were able to move forward, they just didn't want to. But Ramonosky also said, quote, "Police do not have a crystal ball. He wasn't what he is now. All we knew is that he was a flamboyant hairdresser that Diana met on MySpace," end quote. What? That is what he said. Dahvie probably definitely damn well was then what he is now. And if they would have done any kind of investigation whatsoever, they would have figured that out. But they didn't do anything. Now, what Dahvie did with Diana was a 15-year prison sentence in the state of Florida. So 15 years, that would have saved a lot of other survivors if they would have done anything. But moving on from that, the next thing I want to talk about real quick is YouTube. Is YouTube protecting Dahvie Vanity and other predators? Because Dahvie Vanity has a thriving YouTube channel that has over 300,000 subscribers on it. And I just want to know, why is a predator like that allowed to have their platform and allowed to be thriving on their platform with that many subscribers? Because I know that he's not allowed to, he tried to make an OnlyFans and that was shut down within like a week. There's another YouTuber, and she's also a survivor of Dahvie Vanity, and her name is Ashley Lilly, and she is probably one of the loudest voices right now against Dahvie Vanity. If you haven't heard of her, I really suggest that you go check out her channel. She's an amazing person, very strong person, and she's also a very talented and awesome creator. So I suggest you go check out her YouTube channel. But she is a very loud voice against Dahvie right now. And she, as soon as she heard he was making an OnlyFans, she immediately took to OnlyFans, and a lot of other people did as well. But they told him what kind of person Dahvie was, and OnlyFans literally got him off of there immediately. Now, there was an issue just a few weeks ago where Dahvie, he keeps rebranding himself. First of all, he keeps rebranding himself and renaming himself, and it's a clear attempt to run and hide from his allegations. But he did make a video on YouTube saying that a new video was coming out November 13th. It was like a long video, but it was silent with just his picture, and it said that a new video or something was coming out November 13th, which is today. Anyway, so Ashley Lilly, she told everybody about this, and like over 1,000 people went and disliked this video. Now, all of a sudden, all the dislikes disappeared, and the dislikes shot down to 70, just down to 70. So Ashley took to Twitter and called out YouTube, and they responded with just a bunch of crap. Basically, they said that they don't know if it's bots and blah, blah, blah. And if somebody's using a bot to mass dislike something, they have to take that off there because it's not fair or whatever. But she explained to them, sorry, she explained to them that it was not bots, and she explained to them what kind of person he was and what he is being accused of, and that so many people are disliking this because they want him to be deplatformed because of what kind of person he is, or they're at least trying to get it to where he will not be put on people's home pages and stuff, to where new people will see who he is and be unsuspecting future victims maybe. And of course they just responded with, I think they didn't respond at all, and then earlier they responded with just telling her with a link that told her what a like and dislike button was. It was ridiculous. So anyway, so I know there's been other cases like Austin Jones. He was a YouTuber, and his platform didn't get taken down until he was actually convicted and sent to prison. But Dahvie has been arrested twice for this. So why does he still have his platform? And the fact that he is still preying on teenage girls is very dangerous to let him have a platform like this. So is YouTube protecting Dahvie? Maybe. Like, I think maybe. The last thing that I want to talk about is, why is this important now? Well, finally, the FBI is finally starting to take this case seriously. His survivors are speaking up now with more power than ever before, so the FBI is finally taking it seriously. They're starting an investigation, which is so important for the justice of the survivors, which is amazing. But why now? Like, even with the FBI investigation and many of Dahvie's survivors standing up, like, Dahvie, why is this so important now? Well, Dahvie is still doing this. He is still using his platform and his Instagram to look for teenagers online, and it's dangerous. It is dangerous for teenagers. He is still messaging teenagers. He's still sexting teenagers. He's still coercing them and trying to get nudes from them. He is still doing this even to this day. So it is very important that we spread the word and let everybody know exactly who he is and what he is doing, so we can get all of his taken down so that he can't do this anymore. So at first I was a little reluctant to do a video on Dahvie because I know so many other YouTubers and a lot bigger YouTubers than me, really talented creators, have done videos on Dahvie already, so I was a little reluctant, but the fact that he is still doing this, it really makes me like just that much more that I want to spread the word so that other people know who he is, so they know to stay away from him, because he is still messaging teenagers. He's still messaging teenagers. Literally just a week or two ago, there was actually a trans man by the name of Levi, and he is 18 years old, freshly 18, and he posted on Instagram something about Dahvie and said that Dahvie had to be locked up and sent to prison. Well, Dahvie actually messaged him and said that he just wanted to talk to him, all that was lies, and he had proof that he didn't do anything wrong, blah, blah, blah. So he wanted to know what Dahvie had to say, so he went ahead and talked to him, and then Dahvie asked him if he could call him or whatever. So he called him, and he said that he was talking to Dahvie on the phone, which of course he probably, now that I think about it, he probably wanted to call him so that there was no proof of what he was saying. But he called him, Dahvie called him, and he went on and on about how he's getting so much hate all the time, and how the hate is just it's hurting him so bad, and blah, blah, blah. So Levi then asked him, okay, well, you said you had proof. What's the proof? I want to know. And then Dahvie literally said, can I see your boobs? Really? Because if you listen to the testimony and the interviews, go to Pastel Bell, go to her channel, and she has done interviews with so many of Dahvie's survivors. And they all, like, not all of them, but a lot of them say that literally it started out with Dahvie talking to them on the phone or talking to them through a video call and asked to see their boobs. And that's how it started. So it was just so weird that that is the first thing he said. Well, not the first thing, but that's what he said. He asked Levi if he could see his boobs. And then Levi said, but I'm a man. And then Dahvie said, yeah, I know, but you still have them. Seriously? He is a trans man? You're not only exploiting him as being a trans man, but you're also exploiting him in a different way, like asking him for nudes and stuff like that. So like that was just so disgusting to me, and it pissed me off so bad when I watched that video and I heard that from him. That is also on Pastel Belle's channel. You can go watch it. But I just, wow. But so Levi immediately hung up, and Dahvie kept texting and saying, I'm so sorry, please don't be mad at me, please forgive me, I'm so sorry. And then he said that he went and looked on his private channel or his private Instagram, and he saw that he loves to write poetry, and he loves to also, I don't know, poetry, that might have been another victim, but he said that he saw that he does artwork and he loves his artwork, and Dahvie thought that maybe he could help Levi and he could do the cover art for his new album or something. And then he also said, I can make you famous. And I'm like, how the hell can you make him famous? Like, everybody hates you. You're not even famous anymore. Like, but it was a clear attempt to try and get him on Dahvie's side so he can silence him. So, because it's almost like, you're under scrutiny. Like, can you not help yourself or something? Like, what is wrong with him? Anyway, so this is clearly shows that he is still doing this, and that is why it is so important that we spread the word, so we can protect future victims or future survivors. I know they don't like to be called victims, I'm sorry. So this clearly shows that he is still doing this to this day. And Levi also said that he is freshly 18 years old, and it doesn't say that. So he very could have been still a minor, and Dahvie wouldn't have known the difference. So he's still doing this, clearly. So we need to stop him. So that is why I made this video, and I am so sorry that it is so long. I just know there's so much to cover, and I didn't know if I wanted to make it like a 1, 2, 3 parter, but I tried to just touch on so many subjects to try and give you some background, show you who he is, and then everything like that. So I tried to make it as short as possible. I know it's pretty long. I'm really sorry about that. But if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, if you guys, if you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault or any kind of abuse at all, for that matter, there is always support out there for you. And there's always someone to talk to. I know a lot of times some people feel like they can't talk to their family or their friends. If you want to talk to someone that you don't know, I mean, I am always available. I'm not like a counselor or anything, but I'm a good listener. And if you just want to talk to somebody that you don't know or that doesn't know you, I would love to listen to anything you have to say. But if you are a survivor of abuse, there is always help out there for you. I will put some links down below as well. And please tell someone. Please don't keep it in. Just please tell someone. There's always help out there for you. I know I am a survivor of abuse also, and it is really hard, and there is help out there for you. Alright, so anyways, guys, what do you think about Dahvie Vanity? Do you know who he is? Have you heard of him? Or what do you guys think about the marvelous police job that they did in the first case? Like, I want to know your guys' thoughts on all of this. What do you guys think? Have you even heard of Blood on the Dance Floor? Like, what do you guys think? I would really love to hear what you guys think. I love making videos about topics like this so I can hear like what you guys think. I love hearing what other people think about subjects like this. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you if you have made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know it was a long one and I am very sorry. But if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. You know you want to. I would love to have you guys in the family, and I would love to hear all of your opinions on all the content that I like to talk about on this channel. I do put up new content at least twice a week. I also do a vocal cover at least once a week of all of our favorite metal songs. I know I missed last week. I was sick and I was quarantined, so I wasn't able to do anything last week, but I am all better now. Everything is great. So I will continue to be putting up new content for you guys. And I would really hope that you guys would join our family. So I would love to see you guys next time. And remember guys, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind. Bye.